Good morning, everyone. My name is Nicolas. I'm the Focal Group Marketing and Product Manager. Basically, today I'm going to explain you in details the development and product reasons of both ELEAR and UTOPIA headphones. First of all, Focal, we are in the driver, so loudspeaker and speaker business since 40 years now. So we have a huge and deep knowledge in terms of R&D and also manufacturing of speakers and loudspeakers in France. Headphones, for us, we started this journey 5 years ago with the very first one called Spirit. And since we launched this product, we immediately knew that we wanted to go way deeper in terms of headphones technologies and performances, obviously. This is the reason why 4 years ago we started both ELEAR and UTOPIA project at Focal. The idea behind these two products was the following one. As I told you, we are coming from the loudspeaker background, and we love the feeling you have when you listen to a piece of music through a pair of loudspeakers, because of a vivid sound, very natural experience you can get in a room. And this is what we wanted to bring into these two headphones. The feeling you have when you listen to a piece of music through a pair of speakers, but that time with two pairs of headphones. So the first thing here was to avoid changing the room size. What I mean is, when you put usually a pair of headphones on your head, you immediately enter into a smaller room compared to the room you are already in. And this, we wanted to avoid that in order to kill and to avoid killing the vivid experience. So both ELEAR and UTOPIA are very, very open in design in order to maintain the room feeling and room integrity, first of all. The other part of it is obviously the loudspeaker design built in within both ELEAR and UTOPIA headphones. Here we did a world first, a very big innovation that consisted in developing the two very first loudspeakers fully opened back. Compared to the regular electrodynamic drivers you can find in the market that are sealed within a kind of tiny box with holes like ports in order to fine-tune the low frequencies, as an example. This is a very good solution for affordable technologies and affordable headphones, because you can extend the frequency response of these drivers in a kind of easy way. The drawback of it is the distortion it creates and the dynamic compression it creates as well. And that we really wanted to avoid that in order to maintain that kind of very dynamic, very vivid sound experience. This is why we came out with the very first loudspeakers fully opened back. As you can see, this is the ELEAR loudspeaker, so it's fully open back. There is no ports in order to load the drivers into an acoustic chamber. It doesn't exist in that technology. Here, the loudspeaker, the driver only, is responsible of the entire frequency response. There is no tips or tricks to adjust low frequencies, mid frequencies or high frequencies. Everything is coming thanks to and from this driver only. This is the ELEAR driver, the UTOPIA driver is right here. So these are very, very open and fully open in terms of design, right? That is a huge change in the market in terms of innovation, because thanks to that it's increased the dynamic range and the dynamic capability of the electrodynamic driver technology. To cut a long story short, let's sum up it this way. These are 40mm drivers, right? And these 40mm drivers have a mobile displacement capability of 4.5mm, which means more than 10% of the size, the diameter of the driver is the mobile displacement capabilities, which is huge. It's like if you have A 15-inch driver, let's say, imagine you would have something like 2 inches of mobile displacement, which is almost impossible. So this is why here, thanks to this driver technology, you have such vivid sound and vivid experience. In the meantime, ELEAR frequency response is 5 Hz to 23 kHz, whereas Utopia is 5 Hz to 50 kHz. That being said, you are asking, obviously, these drivers to do everything in the same time, to reproduce super high frequencies and very low frequencies as well. That means for low frequencies, the key point is rigidity, whereas for high frequencies, the key point is lightness. Why? Because the driver must be able to work and reproduce 50,000 cycles in 1 second, for Utopia as an example. That means it must be super light. To reach that challenge, what we did is we innovate on 3 things. The first one is here, in terms of mass control, the surround. That surround is only 70 microns thick in the inner part, which is the part that counts in terms of mobile equipment mass. The second part is the voice coil you can see here. That voice coil is the very first voice coil ever made without any former, any support. It's a 1 wire wounding only, and this wire maintains its shape thanks to the treatments we have around it. Thanks to that we save a lot of mass. And the last innovation is here. This is a brand new dome shape from Focal. It is called the M-shaped dome, as you can see. That shape has been developed in order to create and get as close as possible to the planar waveform into a pair of headphones. Why? Because one more time we wanted to maintain the feeling you have when you listen music through a pair of speakers in a room, but that time in a pair of headphones. And to achieve that, you must reach and get as close as possible from the planar waveform to get that kind of vivid experience. At the very end of the process, these 2 headphones has been fine-tuned thanks to the cushion here. This is the Utopia cushion. The ELEAR cushion is the same shape but with different raw materials. On Utopia you have lambskin leather outside, and inside you have a fabric, tissue fabric, right here. Why? Because here we can have a perfect ratio, 50% absorption, 50% diffusions. It's like a room sound tuning. The room acoustic is very important in a room. What I mean is you can have the very best speaker ever. If your room acoustic is bad, the speakers will never perform well in that room. To fix that point, here, let's say, we did a custom-made room to optimize the performances of the speakers within the headphones. And this is a very important point because thanks to that we maintain a very good ratio between absorption and diffusion within the headphones as well. I'm just going to go through the main differences between ELEAR and Utopia. So, in terms of ELEAR and Utopia drivers, 2 differences important to notice. The first one is the magnet. Here is the ELEAR magnet. It's a circular neodymium magnet, as you can see, whereas on Utopia it's 6 segments of neodymium built in. Why? Because thanks to that you increase the magnet flux between Utopia and ELEAR. So Utopia has even more magnet flux in order to have even more dynamic. The other difference is the dome raw material. On ELEAR, the dome is made of aluminium magnesium, right here, whereas obviously on Utopia it is made of pure beryllium. And this is the reason of such performances difference and obviously price difference. Why? Because, to cut a long story short, here the Utopia dome, the beryllium one, the pure beryllium, is made from a flat sheet of beryllium with a 20 micron thickness. The price of these 20 microns thickness sheets. When you buy 1 kilogram of 20 micron sheets of pure beryllium, equals to, depending on the rate, between 40 to 50 kilogram of gold. And this is the reason of why this driver technology is so expensive, and why obviously it brings a lot of performances into UTOPIA pair of headphones. The last point is all about the product design. Right here, as you can see, both headphones look very similar. We are using the very same shape in terms of headband and yoke design. Here we spend a lot of time in order to make sure everybody will have a perfect fit and high level of comfort, be it with UTOPIA and ELEAR headphones. So we spend a lot of time in terms of how to properly design the head shape, the headband shape, as well as the yoke one, in order to make sure that depending on your head size and shape, you will always have a very good coupling with your head all around the head, in order to avoid usually the 1 point touching effect for small head or the 2 points touching effect for big heads. Here that doesn't happen, and this is also a key point. The last difference between UTOPIA and ELEAR is the yoke raw material. On ELEAR it is made of pure and solid aluminum, whereas on UTOPIA it is made of pure carbon fiber. The reason being the weight difference between the two drivers. If you remember well, ELEAR is made of 1 neodymium ring, whereas on UTOPIA you have 6 segments of neodymium. So the magnet of UTOPIA is much more heavy than the magnet of ELEAR. In order to avoid increasing the weight of the headphones too much, we changed from aluminum to carbon fiber on UTOPIA. Last differences on the cushions and headband. UTOPIA is made of lambskin leather, whereas ELEAR cushions and headband are made of fabric. In terms of electronic, obviously, the core idea behind ELEAR and UTOPIA is to make sure these will be very flexible to any electronics. What I mean is, here these two headphones are 80 ohm impedance only, in order to be very flexible depending on the electronic, because it's always a question of taste. Some people would prefer tube amplifiers, others would prefer solid state. Some would probably go for more portable solutions, like the portable solution from Wu Audio or Chord as an example. That being said, it must be very flexible, so the low impedance is a key point here. So these can be used with many different electronics. Obviously, for UTOPIA you should go for high-end electronics, whereas with ELEAR you can go for more affordable solutions, but still high-quality solutions. So be it, I would say, Wu Audio, Cavalli, head amp, Chord, and so on. You will find, obviously, one solution that will fit your listening taste and sound balance taste. So these were the key reason of the design as well.